I wouldn't mess with me if I were you.
I'm so wasted.
I'm sponsored by God.
Black Panther, directed by Ryan Coogler, starring Chadwick Boseman, Daniel Kaluuya, Michael B. Jordan, Lupita Nyong'o, and Martin Freeman, and a whole bunch of other good actors. T'Challa, who's the Black Panther, his father died in Captain America: Civil War. But so his father died, and he now, after Civil War, he's going back to his homeland of Wakanda, which is a super technologically advanced secret society in Africa. And the reason he's going back is because he's going to take his rightful place as king of Wakanda. Or so he thinks it is his rightful place. Because there are a few challengers when it comes to the king. One is not very legitimate, but the other, he's got a case. And the other is played by Michael B. Jordan. I don't want to give anything big away, but basically, Michael B. Jordan's character is kind of the bad guy, and basically Black Panther, somehow or another, he meets up with Martin Freeman's character, and they have to kind of team up to try and take down Michael B. Jordan's character, and because Michael B. Jordan is bad for Wakanda and he's bad for the world. And well, that's the gist of the plot there. That's all I'm gonna say, okay? All right? I don't know why I got so angry there. What is wrong with me? So let's talk about the things I liked about Black Panther. First of all, I thought Chadwick Boseman was a really good lead. I liked him in Captain America: Civil War, and I liked him here. He's a really good lead. He nails that African accent extremely well. I don't believe that he's actually African. I think he's American, but he nails the accent extremely well. I mean, there's no part where I'm like, oh, there's a little bit of that American accent there. No, he's just straight up like, he is straight up Wakandan. And I really like the character of Black Panther. I mean, he's a good guy who wants to help the world and help his country through peaceable, through peaceable ways, as long as that's possible. And I like what Black Panther stands for. He's a good superhero. I also thought Martin Freeman was great in this movie. I love Martin Freeman. I've loved him since I saw him in Sherlock and in The Hobbit and stuff, and he was great here. He was charismatic. You were able to learn a bit more about his character, and I really appreciated that. Also, I forgot to mention Andy Serkis is in this movie, and I loved Andy Serkis in this movie. Andy Serkis is freaking awesome. He's super charismatic. He plays Ulysses Claw, and he's funny, he's charismatic, and I just love to see Andy Serkis in this movie. Unfortunately, I wasn't a big fan of what they ended up actually using his character for. I just kind of felt like they just used him as a plot device, when I think he would actually be a really cool villain for a movie, like a main villain, but I don't know, they just kind of used him as a plot device. I wasn't a huge fan of that. Vacuum cleaner. My favorite thing about Black Panther was the action. The special effects and technology and just everything that has to do with Wakanda, it's super cool. The camera work of like of the fight scenes I thought was pretty excellent. I mean, the fight scenes in this movie are just, they're some of the coolest fight scenes I've seen in a comic book movie in a little while. I think still Logan takes the best comic book fight scenes. But this movie had some really neat fight scenes, and just seeing all the technology in use I thought was just awesome. Now, as for negatives with this movie, I'm not the biggest fan of Michael B. Jordan. I mean, I thought he was pretty good in Creed, and I thought he was, he was good in Chronicle, and but like here, I've never been like fully impressed by Michael B. Jordan. Granted, I have not seen Fruitvale Station, so I may be a bit ignorant of his repertoire. But here, like, the kind of character he plays, he kind of plays a chump, which, and the character had a rough upbringing in this movie, and so it's reasonable for him to be kind of a chump. But they were trying to make him into being like a really cool, smooth-talking villain, and to me, it kind of just came off as cheesy, and I was not all that impressed by Michael B. Jordan. I wasn't blown away. I mean, I thought he looked cool. I was just annoyed by some of his sarcastic dialogue that I think just didn't fit with the tone of the character of the movie. And that's another problem I had with Black Panther, and it's a problem I've had with just about every Marvel movie, is they just kind of like to throw They just want to be like all jokey. Now this movie was not like Thor Ragnarok, obviously. Thor Ragnarok was advertised as a comedy, and it was a comedy. That's what is good about Thor Ragnarok. But to me, I haven't been really impressed by super impressed by any Marvel movies since Captain America Civil War, because the tone is pretty much all the same. It kind of gets serious sometimes, but most of the time it's just kind of goofy. They have some funny jokes thrown in. And in here, it was kind of the same thing. Now, I think they got the tone a little bit more to the center of things, a little bit more balanced, but I don't know. I'm just honestly, I think if it weren't for the fact that I've seen just about all the other Marvel movies, I think I would have liked this movie more, but I've just kind of gotten tired of Marvel's sense of humor. And it's sad for me to say that, but I just kind of gotten bored with it. Now, as to the controversy concerning this movie, whenever I went to see the movie, I did not watch any reviews before I saw it. All I saw was a few headlines like saying Black Panther controversy, identity politics, or something like that. I didn't watch those videos though. I just went in going, okay, well, I bet that these are just political guys who are over politicizing things and just reading too much into the themes of the movie. It turns out that the actual controversy that those people were talking about, because I watched the videos after I watched the movie, they were talking about, apparently before this movie was coming out, there were some black people who were saying that white people shouldn't go see this movie for us to let black people have their moment or something. And there were some white people who were saying, guys, we should wait before you go see this movie to have so that black people can have their joy or something. People are acting as if this is the first black-led superhero movie. It's not. There were like 3 Blade movies in like the late 90s, okay? Like, this is like the 4th or 5th black-led superhero movie. And it's almost like we're going backwards to where now it's controversial to make a movie like this, or like, and for like general audiences to see this movie. Whereas like when Blade came out, as I understand it, there wasn't half as much upheaval or just like craziness surrounding the movie. It's just like now, like some people are like, no, white people shouldn't go see the movie, or like some white people are upset that black people have a movie that's mostly a black cast. Those people are stupid. It's just like, it's a movie about a guy who's really cool. Let's hope it's a good movie. Come on, guys. We're past this, right? Right? Like, I don't really see why people have to make race such a big deal concerning this movie. I mean, can't we just have like a really cool black superhero with a black cast and whatnot in Africa? It makes sense. Now, I have a bit of a problem with the actual movie and what the movie is purporting, and I'm going to get to that right now. What I thought a lot of people were talking about as far as the controversy surrounding this movie was the fact that the main villain kind of, and this is I guess kind of a bit of a spoiler, I don't know, it's very, very, very minor, but basically Michael B. Jordan's character, his kind of goal in this movie is to show off Wakanda to the rest of the world, and he wants to spread their technology and they give their technology to all the oppressed people in the world so that they can fight back and make the world what they think it should be. And he doesn't say it explicitly in the movie, but he talks a lot about being oppressed and oppressors and that sort of thing. And basically, I mean, he's talking about white people. And, you know, obviously, who has historically oppressed black people in America? It's been white people, obviously. But my problem with the grievances that he showed in this movie is that Black Panther, you know, the good guy who kind of almost plays a MLK guy, who's like, no, we only use violence if it's absolutely necessary. And, you know, Michael B. Jordan's character is almost like a Malcolm X character, where he's like, we've got to use force and violence, that sort of thing. Like, the way I saw it is like Black Panther was obviously, he was right to say, you know, no, we shouldn't use violence, we should do this peaceably, but he was still acknowledging the guy's feeling of being ruthlessly oppressed And the matter of fact is that, yes, there are absolutely people in America who are racist and who do oppress people of color, obviously, and those people are trash, and they should be called trash. They should be thrown in the trash and then dumped in a trash landfill. But yeah, obviously there's racism, and there's some institutional racism that I'm honestly quite ignorant of, but a lot of people talk about just the overwhelming amount of black people in prisons and stuff, and that may be, that may be very well true. I'm honestly pretty ignorant of it. It's just stuff that I've heard. But my big problem with this movie is that they were almost acting as if we haven't made leaps and bounds from where we were in this country in regards to race relations and racism. Like, I just think that there's a reason why, like, for example, like, I used to work at Walmart. I think there's a reason for why this 70-year-old black guy, we were watching the news and they were talking about racial riots. I think it was something that had to do with the Michael Brown thing. I think there's a reason why that guy looked at me and he said, man, I don't see it. You don't treat me that way. I don't treat people that way. I just don't see it, man. He was talking about racism. And I think that's because, yes, there's still racism out there, but the truth is, I think social media and the news hypes it up so much to where we almost think that things are as bad as they were back in the 60s, when they're not at all, and we've actually made a ton of progress. And people are like, well, they'll point to things like Charlottesville. And yeah, Charlottesville was awful, but let's take a closer look at Charlottesville. Charlottesville was, as far as the white supremacist Nazi losers that showed up, it was like their big Mecca meeting. Only like 2,000 people showed up. As far as like those people, they are losers who are nothing. And I think that, I think ultimately what Black Panther was trying to do was good, as far as like, we need to come together and set aside our differences, and they had a good post-credit scene that was all about that. But I think they exaggerated the issue of racial tension in this country to the point where it's acting as if things are as bad as they used to be now. And I think that the danger of acting as if things are as bad as they were is that if you keep on acting as if they are that way, then they may end up becoming that way again. I don't think that's good. But anyways, like, yeah, that was what my thoughts are on the controversy. That's, like, for me, the movie, like I said, I think it was trying to do a good job here. I thought it was trying to promote a good message, but I think that they exaggerated racism and racial tensions in this country in a way that I don't think is good. And there certainly is racism, and racial tension is definitely higher than it has been in a long time, but I don't think that's because people on the street are becoming more racist. I think it's because the news media and social media is acting as if they're basically highlighting individuals who are racist and awful, and kind of painting a broad picture of America as being racist, when I think we have made leaps and bounds in the right direction instead of going in the wrong direction. I do hope with me talking all about this political stuff, I do hope that through my ramblings, I have illustrated some good points. I really hope so, because I don't want to get like 50 comments from people accusing me of being racist, because I'm not racist at all. I'm trying to make points, but honestly, I have trouble sometimes talking to a camera because it's not a person, and I'm also 19 and quite possibly very ignorant of things. But anyways, those are my thoughts on the movie. I think it's a good movie. I would recommend that you see it. I'm not like freaking out about the movie. I think it's good. I think it's worth seeing for sure. But it's not like the mecca of movies. I thought it was good, but I did not think it was great. And honestly, like, most of my problems didn't have to do anything with that controversy. Most of my problems were just the same problems I have with every Marvel movie. And this is the reason why I have not had a Marvel movie like get an A since Captain America: Civil War. And that's the reason, like, this movie, Black Panther, is going to get a solid B-, because because I just don't see me really wanting to go rewatch it over and over again, because it just feels like most other Marvel movies. Yes, the technology is different, the look is different, but it's got the same tone, same humor, and I thought it was fine, and I think it's good, and I think it's definitely worth seeing, but it's not incredible by any means, at least in my opinion. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, what did you think of Black Panther if you saw it? Whatever thoughts and comments you have, please leave them in the comment section below and let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like it and subscribe, tell your friends about the channel, and never forget to be. That was stupid, but never forget to be.